Usher found Justin and brought him to Diddy.
Ever since Diddy's case began, rumors about Justin Bieber being groomed have exploded online, especially after pictures of him allegedly attending Diddy's infamous freak-offs at one of his many mansions went viral. What really happened with Justin behind those doors has been kept quiet until now. Word is, his former bodyguard may have taken the stand, revealing disturbing details about what went down at those parties, and if any of it is true, it's bad. Let's break it all down. The bodyguards testifies what happened at the mansion. I know y'all are eager to hear what he said, but first, let's set the scene. We're talking 2009, right? Justin Bieber was just 15 years old, fresh-faced, and riding the wave of his early fame. Baby was blowing up. Girls were screaming his name everywhere he went, and he was the hottest new thing in music. Meanwhile, Diddy was already an established mogul with decades in the game and massive influence in the industry. The power dynamic there, completely lopsided, no question. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, those visits that have had the internet going crazy, they weren't nearly as sus as people been making them out to be. The bodyguard spilled that when Bieber, who was only 15 at the time, visited Diddy's mansion, these weren't no weekend-long ragers or anything shady like that. They were actually mad brief, like we're talking only 2 hours top. The bodyguard broke it down, saying Diddy would just hit him up with a call like, "Yo, I'm in town, bring Justin by. I want you to highlight him for a little while." That's it. Pretty standard industry networking type stuff. Nothing like the 48-hour party that some people been claiming online. Let me paint the picture for y'all of what allegedly went down during these visits. The bodyguard said it was always professional and brief. During one of these visits, Justin wasn't rolling solo. He had his manager Scooter Braun with him, and of course the bodyguard was there too. They weren't hidden away in some sketchy back room. They were just making promotional videos, which was part of Bieber's come-up strategy back then. Remember, this was 2009, and Bieber was the hot new artist that everybody wanted a piece of. His team was connecting him with established stars like Nick Cannon and Justin Timberlake to boost his clout. This was just part of that whole marketing plan. Scooter Braun, love him or hate him, was a marketing genius who knew exactly how to build Bieber's brand by associating him with established celebrities. This Diddy connection was likely just another strategic move in that playbook. One of the main things that went down during the visit was Diddy showing off his Lamborghini to Bieber. I mean, what 15-year-old wouldn't be hyped to see that? We even got video evidence of Bieber mentioning this.
Oh, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know.
According to the bodyguard, after this brief link-up, Bieber bounced and headed to other commitments like a radio station appearance and then to a friend's crib for Halloween. This timeline actually checks out with Justin's documented schedule from October 31st, 2009, so it's not like he disappeared for days. Mans was just making his rounds like any artist on promo. Let's break down exactly what the bodyguard revealed in his testimony because the details matter here. He said these visits were casual drop-ins, not extended stays. They were initiated by Diddy with a phone call, not some elaborate plot to isolate a young star. The activities were mundane, making promotional videos and checking out cars, not the sinister scenarios that online conspiracy theorists have been pushing. And crucially, Bieber was never alone during these visits. He had his manager with him, and the bodyguard was present the entire time. Some fans on Reddit have been relieved by this confirmation, with one user noting that the bodyguard's account matches with what was known about Bieber's schedule in 2009. They pointed out that it would have been impossible for Bieber to spend 48 straight hours with Diddy, given his packed schedule of appearances and performances during that time. This user, who goes by the username Fakugurki, received 47 upvotes for their comment, showing that many fans find this timeline explanation convincing. But of course, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. The internet is still divided, and some people are skeptical about the bodyguard's motives. Some users are suggesting that he might be covering for Diddy, or that he was even involved in problematic behavior himself. One user, Evening Manager 1807, received 4 upvotes for suggesting the bodyguard might be covering for his former boss. This shows that while some believe his account, others remain deeply suspicious. The controversy gets even messier when you look at the financial aspects that some Reddit users have brought up. One user claimed that footage from these encounters was sold for $350, 360 million inches, and that tabloids were offering high sums for screenshots. While these claims lack solid evidence, they indicate just how much speculation is swirling around this story. The financial implications suggest that there might be powerful incentives for people to either reveal or conceal information about what really happened. There's also the issue of that infamous clip where Diddy seems to be warning Bieber about keeping quiet about what they do together.
And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
That clip had people shook, especially with Diddy adding that ominous "everything ain't for everybody" at the end. But the bodyguard's testimony suggests that there wasn't anything nefarious going on behind closed doors, just regular industry networking and promotion. Still, the language Diddy uses in that clip is undeniably strange. Why would he feel the need to warn Bieber about discussing their interactions publicly if everything was above board? It's this kind of ambiguity that has kept the speculation alive despite the bodyguard's clarifications. Reddit user referenced Diddy's public claim of spending 48 hours with Bieber, directly contradicting the bodyguard's account. This user suggested that Diddy's behavior showed signs of grooming, which raises serious concerns about the nature of their relationship. While these are unproven allegations, they highlight the strong emotions and concerns that many fans have about Bieber's early career experiences. Now, fans have been rallying in support of Bieber amid all this Diddy scandal. They're concerned about what he might have been exposed to at such a young age, especially given the power dynamics at play. I mean, Bieber was literally a child being introduced to the high life of the music industry, surrounded by adults who had been in the game for decades. The age and power differential is something that can't be ignored in this conversation. Some fans have also been pointing out how Bieber's early stardom might have contributed to feelings of loneliness and pressure, which he's been open about in recent years. This is a perspective that adds nuance to the conversation. Regardless of what specifically happened during these mansion visits, the broader context of a child navigating fame with adult guidance or exploitation remains problematic. Remember when Bieber talked about his mental health struggles?
Man, I think that there was times where I was really suicidal. Man, is this pain ever gonna go away? It was so consistent. The pain was so consistent. I was just suffering, right? So I'm just like, man, I would rather not feel this.
It's heart-wrenching to hear him talk about that pain, and it makes you wonder what kind of environment he was in during those formative years. But according to the bodyguard, at least during these specific mansion visits, nothing inappropriate was going down. One interesting aspect of this testimony is how it contrasts with the public persona that Diddy was cultivating at the time. Diddy has always been known for his extravagant parties and larger-than-life lifestyle. The infamous white parties in the Hamptons, the lavish birthday celebrations, the reputation for excess, all of this created an image that makes it hard for some people to believe that his interactions with Bieber were as mundane as the bodyguard described. Yet, according to this first-hand account, that's exactly what happened. The timing of this testimony is particularly interesting, given the current cultural reckoning happening in the entertainment industry. In the wake of the #Me Too movement and increased scrutiny of power dynamics in Hollywood and the music business, many historical interactions are being re-examined through a new lens. This testimony could be seen as part of a broader trend of people speaking out about what they witnessed in these environments. Alright fam, let's switch gears and talk about the Biebs himself, his personal life, his mental health journey, and how all this Diddy drama might be affecting him today. Justin Bieber's personal life and mental health. Justin Bieber ain't just some random celebrity. He's been in the spotlight since he was a straight-up kid, and that kind of pressure does things to a person. First off, let's get y'all up to speed on what's going on with Justin these days. Man's been on a completely different vibe lately. He married Hailey Baldwin, now Hailey Bieber, back in 2018, and they just welcomed their first baby, a son named Jack Blues, in August 2024. So he's in full dad mode now. Totally different life from his wild child days. Their relationship timeline is actually pretty interesting. They briefly dated in 2015 to 2016, reconciled in 2018, got engaged in July 2018, and confirmed their marriage in November 2018. They even had a second ceremony in South Carolina in September 2019 to celebrate with friends and family. This stability in his personal life has been a major positive change for Bieber after years of turbulence and public scrutiny. But here's where things get real. According to recent reports from May 2025, Bieber has been spotted looking disheveled in public. Sources are saying he's going through it mentally, and some believe it might be connected to all this Diddy controversy that's been exploding in the media. Like, imagine having your past connections to someone facing serious allegations being dissected by millions of people online. That's gotta mess with your head. The Daily Mail has been particularly focused on Bieber's appearance, with reports describing him as pale and gaunt in recent public appearances, wearing oversized, shabby clothing. While tabloid reporting should always be taken with a grain of salt, multiple sources seem to agree that Bieber appears to be struggling with the stress of recent events, including the Diddy controversy. It's no secret that Justin has struggled with his mental health over the years. In his 2020 docuseries, Justin Bieber Seasons, he opened up about dealing with anxiety and depression. Man was brave enough to talk about those dark times.
Man, I think that there was times where I was really suicidal. Man, is this pain ever gonna go away? It was so consistent. The pain was so consistent. I was just suffering, right? So I'm just like, man, I would rather not feel this.
That's heavy, straight up. And he also touched on how he wished he'd been more open about his struggles earlier.
I really do believe that God works all things together for good. And I think sometimes it's hard to see that when things are so messy. And I think that that allows me to have this overwhelming confidence. I just would encourage people like, hey, if you're feeling lonely, talk about it. Say it out loud. There's a freedom in that. I could have avoided a lot of pain.
What's really striking about these clips is the rawness of Bieber's emotions. He's not just talking about feeling sad or going through a rough patch. He's describing suicidal ideation, consistent, overwhelming pain, and suffering that felt insurmountable. This level of mental health struggle is serious and should be approached with compassion rather than speculation or judgment. The Seasons documentary was actually a major moment in Bieber's career because it represented a new level of transparency from the pop star. The series didn't just focus on his music or fame, but delved into his personal struggles, including his battle with Lyme disease, which had been affecting both his physical and mental health. The documentary amassed an impressive 32.65 million views in its first week, showing just how much public interest there was in understanding Bieber's journey beyond the headlines. Justin's relationship with his father, Jeremy Bieber, has also been complicated. In interviews, Bieber has mentioned that his dad was not in a place where he could raise a kid when he was younger. Jeremy bounced for a year when Justin was just 4 years old. They've since reconnected, and they even have matching Yeshua tattoos, but that early abandonment likely affected Justin's view of male authority figures in the industry. Jeremy was present at Justin's 2014 arrest for driving under the influence, showing that despite their complex history, he has remained in Justin's life through both good times and difficult periods. Justin also has 4 younger half-siblings, Allie, Jasmine, Jackson, and Bay, from Jeremy's other relationships, adding additional layers to his family dynamics. These complicated family structures may have contributed to Justin seeking validation and guidance from industry figures like Usher and Diddy during his formative years. What's wild is that this whole Diddy situation has people re-evaluating Bieber's infamous rebel phase from back in the day. Remember when he was getting arrested, egging houses, and generally wilding out? People are now wondering if that behavior was influenced by the environment around Diddy and other industry figures. It's like everyone's looking back at his career with fresh eyes, trying to connect dots that might not even be there. During that rebel phase, Bieber's public image took a serious hit. From the 2014 DUI arrest in Miami to getting caught on camera urinating in a restaurant's mop bucket, from the infamous house egging incident that resulted in $80,000 in damages to his neighbor's property to fighting with paparazzi, Bieber seemed to be spiraling out of control. At the time, it was largely attributed to the pressures of fame and typical teenage rebellion. But now, with what we know about the music industry and the potential influences around him, some are questioning whether these behaviors were symptoms of deeper issues related to his experiences in the industry. According to multiple sources, Bieber is completely disgusted by the allegations against Diddy and wants nothing to do with this entire situation. Can you blame him? Man's finally in a good place with his family, and now all this old drama is resurfacing. Us Weekly reported that sources close to Bieber have advised him to stay as far away as possible from anything related to Diddy, suggesting a concerted effort to distance himself from the controversy. Reports suggest that Bieber has been advised to distance himself from anything related to Diddy to protect his reputation, and that seems to be exactly what he's doing, focusing on being a great dad and husband instead of getting caught up in the media storm. People magazine emphasized that Bieber is aware of the situation but is prioritizing his family, particularly after welcoming son Jack Blues in August 2024. Hailey Bieber has reportedly been instrumental in supporting Justin through this intense time. She's been his rock, focusing on their growing family and helping him navigate the controversy without getting pulled back into old patterns. The Music Essentials noted that Hailey has been committed during this difficult period, suggesting that her support has been crucial to Justin's ability to cope with the stress of the situation. It's also worth noting that Justin has been dealing with health issues on top of everything else. Back in 2022, he revealed his diagnosis of Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which caused facial paralysis.
Justin here. I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on. Obviously, as you can probably see from my face, I have this syndrome called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, and it is from this virus that attacks the nerve in my ear and my facial nerves and has caused my face to have paralysis. As you can see, this eye is not blinking.
This condition forced Bieber to postpone concert dates on his Justice World Tour and take time off to focus on his health. The physical symptoms of Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, including facial paralysis and hearing loss, would be challenging for anyone to deal with, but for a performer whose career depends on his appearance and ability to sing, it was particularly difficult. Add to that the psychological impact of such a visible condition, and it's clear that Bieber has been dealing with multiple significant stressors in recent years. But here's the thing, despite all the speculation, Bieber himself hasn't made any public statements about Diddy's arrest. He's keeping his thoughts private, likely focused on healing and protecting his peace. And honestly, that might be the smartest move. In today's social media environment, where every word is scrutinized and potentially taken out of context, maintaining privacy on such a sensitive issue allows Bieber to focus on his mental health without the added pressure of public opinion. Some people claim that Bieber has broken his silence or admitted things about Diddy, but fact checkers have debunked these claims, confirming that no such admissions exist. It's just clickbait trying to capitalize on this messy situation. A viral YouTube video claiming Bieber admitted something about Diddy was rated false by Sportskeeda, highlighting the need for critical evaluation of sources in this highly charged discourse. What we do know is that Bieber has been reportedly shut off from discussing the Diddy news because he's so disturbed by it. Man's in a hard place mentally because of their past relationship, according to sources quoted in Newsweek. This reaction is understandable. Having a former mentor and industry connection facing such serious allegations would be distressing for anyone, particularly someone who has been open about their mental health struggles. Bieber has also opened up in the past about the traumatic aspects of his rise to fame.
I just wanted to be a good example, and it was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody.
In the clip, Bieber also mentions wanting to protect someone, presumably Haley, from experiencing what he went through, suggesting that he recognizes the potential harm in the industry environments he was exposed to. This protective instinct appears to be manifesting in his current focus on family and his reported distance from the Diddy controversy. Bieber's focus on faith has been a consistent theme in his adult life. He's been open about how his relationship with God has helped him through difficult times, often sharing Bible verses and spiritual reflections on social media. This spiritual foundation appears to be a source of strength for him amid the current controversies, with sources noting that he's finding solace in prayer and his church community. All right, let's get into the Bieber-Diddy connection and how it's affected Justin's career and public image. The Diddy connection and its impact. This is where things get really interesting, fam. So Justin and Diddy's relationship goes way back to the early 2010s. According to reports, they were introduced by their mutual friend and mentor, Usher. Bieber was just a rising teenage sensation at the time, and Diddy took on this big brother mentor role in his life. Usher played a pivotal role in Bieber's early career, signing him to his label and guiding him through the industry. This relationship is detailed in articles like "Here's How Usher Helped Justin Bieber Become Famous," which highlights Usher's influence on the young star. Usher essentially handed Bieber off to his industry connections, including Diddy, creating a network of mentorship around the teenage star. There's that famous 2009 YouTube vlog titled Justin Bieber's 48 HRS with Diddy that shows them hanging out together. In the video, Diddy describes the experience as a 15-year-old's dream, but then refuses to give details, which in hindsight seems mad sus. Like, why be secretive about hanging with a 15-year-old if everything's on the up and up? Their collaboration continued over the years, with Bieber even being featured on Diddy's 2023 album, the Love album, Off the Grid, for a track called Moments. So this wasn't just a brief connection. They maintained some kind of relationship for over a decade. Bieber reportedly described this collaboration as a full circle moment in an Instagram story post before Diddy's arrest, suggesting he valued the connection and saw it as significant to his career journey. But everything changed when Diddy was arrested on September 16, 2024. He was hit with serious charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation for prostitution. That's when people started looking back at Diddy's interactions with young artists, including Bieber, with a much more critical eye. The indictment was no joke. 14 pages of federal charges that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. This wasn't just tabloid gossip. It was a serious legal matter that raised questions about what was happening behind closed doors in Diddy's empire. The allegations were particularly disturbing given Diddy's history of mentoring young artists, including Bieber. After the arrest, old clips resurfaced, including that infamous 2011 Jimmy Kimmel Live interview where Diddy warns warns Bieber not to talk about the things he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Let's take another look at that clip.
And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television. Apparently not. Something.
That warning, followed by Diddy's statement that everything ain't for everybody, has been interpreted as ominous by many, fueling speculation about what might have gone down behind closed doors. The Daily Mail described Diddy as smirking during this exchange, adding to the unsettling nature of the interaction. The article pointed out that the clip has gained new significance in light of the serious allegations against Diddy, with viewers interpreting it as a potential warning to maintain secrecy about questionable activities. So how has all this affected Bieber's career and public image? It's complicated, to say the least. During his early career, Diddy's mentorship was generally seen as a positive influence, helping Bieber navigate the music industry and giving him connections. But now, with Diddy's legal troubles, that association has become a liability, potentially affecting Bieber's public image. Looking at Bieber's career trajectory, it's worth noting that he hasn't released a studio album since Justice in 2021. While there could be many reasons for this hiatus, his health issues, becoming a father, creative cycles, the timing does coincide with the increasing scrutiny of his past industry relationships. Whether there's a direct causal link is unclear, but the correlation has not gone unnoticed by fans and industry observers. Fans and media outlets have started reevaluating Bieber's past behavior, particularly his teenage rebel phase, wondering if it was influenced by the environment around Diddy. It's like people are rewriting the narrative of Bieber's entire career in light of these new allegations. Marie Claire specifically examined the connections between Bieber, Diddy, and Usher, questioning whether Bieber's well-documented troubles during his late teens and early 20s might have been reactions to or consequences of his industry relationships rather than simple growing pains. The evidence suggests that the Diddy scandal has added significant stress to Bieber, with sources noting it's a hard place mentally for him given their history. This stress is apparently evident in his recent public appearances, described as disheveled, and coincides with his focus shifting from music to family. Standard reported that Bieber has appeared noticeably different in public, with fans expressing concern about his well-being. The article specifically linked these changes to the stress of the Diddy controversy, suggesting a direct impact on Bieber's mental state. While it's unclear if the Diddy connection has directly harmed his career trajectory, it seems likely to have contributed to his current hiatus from music and increased public scrutiny. People are watching his every move, analyzing his body language, his social media posts, and even his clothing choices for signs of distress. Bieber's strategy appears to be distancing himself, with reports suggesting he's been advised to stay away from anything related to Diddy to protect his reputation. And honestly, that's probably the smart move from a PR perspective. Why get caught up in someone else's mess if you don't have to? Let's also talk about Bieber's connections to other rappers and hip-hop figures, because it wasn't just Diddy. Justin has collaborated with many artists in the industry, including Ludacris on Baby, Chance the Rapper on Holy, and Lil Wayne on tracks like Backpack and I'm the One. He's also worked with Drake on Right Here, and with Kanye West on the Runaway Love remix. Usher, of course, was a key mentor who helped Bieber navigate the industry. Bieber has even listed rappers like Lil Wayne and Eminem as top influences. In a 2021 interview with DJ Khaled, Bieber named Lil Wayne, Biggie, Eminem, Kanye West, and Drake as his top 5 MCs, demonstrating his deep appreciation for hip-hop culture. So his connection to hip-hop goes way beyond just Diddy. He's been deeply embedded in that world since the beginning of his career. But here's the thing, the allegations against Diddy are casting a shadow over all these relationships. People are questioning everything, wondering who knew what and when. It's guilt by association in the court of public opinion, and Bieber's caught in the crossfire. What's clear is that the Diddy scandal has forced a reckoning in the entertainment industry, with people questioning the power dynamics between established stars and young, up-and-coming artists. The relationship between Diddy and Bieber is just one example of a broader pattern that many find concerning. What are your thoughts on Justin's bodyguard testimony? Share your thoughts in the comments and click on the cards on screen for more. After years of victims speaking out, Diddy is finally in jail, and it seems he may be locked up for life. The crimes he has committed for decades have suddenly caught up with him. Not only has he been accused of paying for Tupac's murder, but he may have had something to do with Michael Jackson's death. Stay tuned, because you are in for a wild ride. From publicly shooting a woman in the face to drugging and sexually assaulting a woman in the 1990s, Diddy has never seen the light of day again. Diddy finally arrested. In a shocking twist, the music industry is rocked as Sean Diddy Combs, the legendary rapper and mogul, has been arrested and charged with sex trafficking. The 54-year-old was detained at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan, leaving fans and the public in disbelief. This high-profile arrest comes amid a wave of allegations and lawsuits accusing Combs of sexual assault. The charges are serious, and the court has ordered him held without bail. On the morning of Tuesday, September 17th, the music world was shaken to its core. Sean Diddy Combs, a name synonymous with hip-hop royalty, was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan. The 54-year-old music mogul, known for his larger-than-life persona and influence in the industry, was taken into custody by officers in a dramatic turn of events. The arrest took place at the luxurious Park Hyatt Hotel, a location that epitomizes the opulence and success that Diddy has enjoyed throughout his career. However, on this fateful day, the hotel became the backdrop for a scandal that would send shockwaves through the entertainment industry. Damian Williams, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, announced that the arrest was based on a sealed indictment. While the specific charges were not immediately disclosed, the gravity of the situation was evident. With no charges attached to Diddy's name, the internet went wild with speculation. One of the crimes the internet thought Diddy had been arrested for was the assault on his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, which was caught on camera. Although Cassie and Diddy had already settled their case out of court, there was wide speculation that the video may have been used to get Diddy behind bars. The other crime that people thought could have landed Diddy behind bars was Tupac's murder. There has been speculation that the suspect arrested in Tupac's murder, Keffy D, would testify against Diddy. This wouldn't be the first time he turns on Diddy, as he confessed years ago that Diddy wanted Tupac dead and even paid for the hit. According to Keffy D's account, he and Diddy discussed the hit on Diddy's enemies once at a concert in Anaheim and a couple of times at Greenblatt's Deli on the Sunset Strip. He took me downstairs and he's like, "Man, I want to get rid of them dudes, man." I was like, "We'll wipe their ass out quick, man. It's nothing." Keffy D revealed to the feds. He even revealed that Suge Knight was the only on the hit list. Tupac's name was added to the hit list after he made a diss track that publicly and brutally mocked Diddy and his record label. When Combs asked about Shakur and Knight, would he always say both of them? A detective can be heard asking Keffy D during the interrogation. "He added the boy Shakur on after he made a record," the ex-gangster replied. "Before that, it was just Suge." And then after Hit 'Em Up came out, the detective asked, and Keffy D replied saying, yeah, that pissed Combs off." Most ironically, Keffy D says he never got the money Diddy had allegedly offered him for the hit. According to the ex-gangster, he had asked for $1,001,000 in a meeting prior to Tupac's death. According to Keffy D, word on the street is that Diddy gave half the reward to a man named Eric Von Zip, who never relayed it back to its rightful owner. The most damning information on Diddy's involvement with Tupac's murder was ex-cop Greg Kading's book, Murder Rap, which highlighted Keffy D's confession in detail and even spawned a documentary exposing Diddy, which he has always denied.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect.
But Tupac's death isn't the only strange incident that Diddy has been connected to, as the internet speculated that he could have been arrested for Michael Jackson's murder. As strange as that might sound, the evidence may shock you, and it has everything to do with his head of security, Fahim Muhammad. So who exactly is Fahim Muhammad, and how is he connected to Michael Jackson and Diddy? It turns out that Fahim Muhammad was Diddy's head of security and was key in helping him get away with his crime. Fahim had deep connections within law enforcement and could make any problem disappear. In fact, a damning lawsuit filed by Lil Rod claims that Diddy instructed his employees to call Fahim anytime they were in trouble with the law, and he could make their problems disappear. One of the most disturbing crimes that Lil Rod he had witnessed Fahim cover-up involved a 2022 incident at Chalice Recording Studio in Hollywood while Diddy was hosting a writers and producers camp. Jones alleges Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend G were in a heated conversation in the studio's bathroom when shots rang out. Jones claims the rapper and his son left the bathroom, but G was lying on the floor, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his leg area. Lil Rod says he ran to help the man and sat him on the toilet while calling for others to get an ambulance. Photos in the lawsuit allegedly show G's blood on the studio's restroom floor and toilet stemming from this incident, but when authorities later arrived, Lil Rod says Diddy gave strict instructions to lie to them and say G was shot outside of the studio by a drive-by assailant. According to LAPD's investigation, the victim was shot outside the studio during a robbery and then ran into the studio bleeding. However, Lil Rod says he witnessed the LAPD spend hours in the studio after the shooting, including in the bathroom, and make no arrests. Well, what is strange is that Fahim Muhammad was among the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson died.
Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The cleanup guy, Mr. Fahim Muhammad, was also on the scene when Michael Jackson died.
What is even stranger is the fact that he was only 21 at the time and worked as MJ's head of security. Did Fahim, at 21, have the credentials to protect a pop star of Michael's caliber? What exactly were his qualifications at the time? Well, it turns out just 1 year before MJ's death, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. Why would a business graduate be in charge of the king of pop security? Was Diddy in any way involved? Something obviously seems fishy with the whole situation. It seems Diddy's world crumbled after Lil Rod's lawsuit because it exposed many of his evil dealings. From freak-offs to drugging underage girls, this lawsuit may be the reason Diddy is in cuffs. The Lil Rod lawsuit. The lawsuit that may have finally led to Diddy's downfall was filed by his former producer back in February. After failing to settle the lawsuit out of court, it has been downhill for the music mogul. From feds raiding his homes to now being behind bars, Diddy wishes he had settled the lawsuit earlier. Rodney Lil Rod Jones filed the lawsuit accusing Diddy of sexual assault. These allegations span from September 2022 to November 2023. During the production of Diddy's latest album, Lil Rod had been hired to work on Diddy's latest album, a project that required close collaboration and long hours. According to Lil Rod, the first incident occurred during these sessions. In September 2022, Lil Rod alleges that Diddy began making inappropriate advances. He claims that Diddy would grope his genitals and touch his ass, actions that Lil Rod describes as grooming him for sex. These incidents reportedly occurred in the recording studio, where the two spent countless hours working on the album. The allegations continued into October 2022. Lil Rod claims that Diddy would walk around naked in front of him, downplaying these actions as horseplay. According to Lil Rod, this behavior was part of a pattern of inappropriate conduct that made him increasingly uncomfortable. In November 2022, Lil Rod alleges that Diddy subjected him to unwarranted sexual attention from his associates. This includes actor Cuba Gooding Jr. and a female cousin of Diddy's girlfriend, Young Miami. Lil Rod claims that the female cousin once tried to have sex with him in front of Diddy, an incident that left him feeling violated and powerless. The most disturbing allegations come from an incident in February 2023. Lil Rod claims that he was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts with them at Diddy's request. He further alleges that during one of Diddy's infamous drug-rampant parties, he was drugged and raped. Lil Rod recalls waking up naked, dizzy, and confused in bed with Diddy and two sex workers. This incident, he says, left him traumatized and fearful for his safety, but there's more. According to Lil Rod, Diddy has been secretly recording explicit sex tapes of various celebrities and politicians using hidden cameras strategically placed throughout his lavish homes during his notorious freak-off parties. While living and traveling with Mr. Combs, Mr. Lil Rod discovered that Mr. Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his homes, the lawsuit read. Mr. Lil Rod believes that Mr. Combs has recordings of defendants Lucian Charles Grange, Ethiopia Habtemariam, as well as other celebrities, music label executives, politicians, and athletes. The implications of these claims are nothing short of staggering. If true, Diddy's secret sex tapes could potentially expose the private lives of some of the most influential and powerful individuals in the world. From A-list celebrities to high-ranking politicians, no one would be safe from the prying eyes of Diddy's hidden cameras. It is important to note that Lil Rod alleges these individuals were recorded without their knowledge or consent, making the situation even more disturbing. The violation of privacy and the potential damage to reputations cannot be overstated. The mere existence of these compromising tapes raises questions about the lengths Diddy was willing to go to obtain such intimate footage. These individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent, and as is the case with the homosexual sex tape of Stevie J that Mr. Combs provided to Mr. Lil Rod, Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person that has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties. Upon information and belief due to this treasure trove of evidence he has in his possession, Mr. Combs believes that he is above the law and is untouchable, the lawsuit read. Lil Rod alleges that Combs showed him a recording of American DJ, record producer, and television personality Stevie J engaging in anal intercourse with a man. According to Lil Rod, Combs used this recording to manipulate and solicit him, suggesting that such behavior was common in the music industry. Diddy knew Lil Rod looked up to and idolized Stevie J and used the recording to solicit him. This is a normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it, Combs reportedly told his Lil Rod. These hidden cameras were not the only disturbing aspect of Diddy's alleged actions. Lil Rod also accuses Diddy of engaging in sexual misconduct, forcing drug use, and grooming. It is claimed that Diddy regularly partied with sex workers and underage girls, requiring them to sign non-disclosure agreements. Even Diddy's neighbors revealed that underage girls would be brought to the house in bus loads at 3 in the morning.
Stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much. It be like buses, like big ass buses. You can see all type of shit hop out. especially at nighttime, like around 3 o'clock in the morning, it gets wild. I'm his neighbor.
Interestingly, Diddy's parties were exposed years ago, but everyone thought the accusations were too wild to be true. The man, identified as Jonathan Oddie, even claimed to have slept with Cassie and Diddy in the freak-offs. In the interrogation video, which was recorded in 2018, he claimed to have a special and recurring sexual relationship with Combs and his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
I had with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would tell me what to do with Cassie.
Oddie referred to himself as their sex slave, a term that sent shockwaves through the media and raised questions about the dark secrets of the entertainment industry.
I was like a sex slave, okay? For them, that's what I was.
But what made these claims even wilder is that he implicated high-profile figures in the rap world, such as Rick Ross and DJ Khaled.
Who? Both Diddy and Ross and Khaled. They're all gay.
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They're all gay?
Yeah.
Interestingly, Jonathan claimed that he may have kept one of the recordings of the freak-offs. He claimed that Diddy paid him for the recording. However, they accidentally gave them back to him and he may have made copies.
They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible I threw everything out. It's possible I can produce a copy.
And as Lil Rod's lawsuit hangs over Diddy's head like a dark cloud, he may be lucky because he has gotten away with heinous crimes in the past. From attempted murder to beating up his ex-girlfriend, Diddy has proven to be a monster. Diddy's assault charges. But the first time Diddy was ever publicly accused of assault was back in 2019 by his ex-girlfriend Gina Hewin. Gina Hewin, also known as Virginia 5, first came into the public eye when she shared intimate videos of herself and Diddy on her Instagram. These videos, which showed the two getting quite cozy, were quickly taken down, but not before the gossip outlet, The Shade Room, got a hold of them and shared them on their popular social media accounts. This was just the beginning of a series of revelations that would shock the world. Gina Hewin and Diddy had an on and off relationship that spanned several years. According to Gina, their relationship was tumultuous and filled with abuse. She described how Diddy would stomp and hit her, leaving her mentally, emotionally, and physically scarred. One of the most harrowing incidents Hewin described was when Diddy allegedly stomped on her stomach with such force that it knocked the wind out of her.
He stomped on my stomach really hard, and I took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe. He took my hair and was dragging me across the grass in my hair.
This horrifying account is just one example of the physical abuse Hewin claims to have suffered at the hands of Diddy. She also alleged that he grabbed her by the hair and punched the back of her head repeatedly.
So I was laying on my back and he stood over me and he started punching me like this. He avoided my face, but he started punching me on the side of my head, and I was just covering my face.
But the abuse wasn't limited to physical violence. Hewin also described how Diddy subjected her to emotional and mental abuse. She claimed that he would constantly compare her to Cassie, telling her she was the bad one, while Cassie was the good one.
He would always compare me to Cassie and tell me that I'm the bad one and she's the good one.
But it turns out that Diddy had been abusing women long before meeting Gina Hewin. In 2023, women started coming forward, accusing him of some pretty wild crimes. The first woman to come forward was Joy Dickerson Neal. The story of Joy Dickerson Neal and Sean Diddy Combs begins in the vibrant and competitive world of the 1990s music industry. Joy Dickerson Neal was part of the same social circle as Diddy, who was then an up-and-coming music mogul. Their paths crossed professionally when they both appeared in the music video for Straight from the Soul by Finesse and Sinquis. Joy asserts that despite their professional relationship, she consistently rejected Diddy's persistent advances. She was focused on her career and education, determined to make a name for herself in the industry on her own terms. However, Diddy's interest in her was relentless. On January 3rd, 1991, during a school holiday break, Joy reluctantly agreed to an early dinner with Diddy. They dined at the famous Wells restaurant in Harlem, the home of chicken and waffles since 1983. After their meal, Diddy persuaded Joy to accompany him as he attended to some errands in the city. This seemingly innocent request would lead to events that would change Joy's life forever. She got into his car, a decision she would regret deeply. During their time together, Diddy allegedly drugged her, rendering her unable to stand or walk independently. Joy found herself herself in a vulnerable and helpless state, unable to comprehend the full extent of what was happening to her. Diddy first drove to a music studio that should have been familiar and safe for Joy. However, in her incapacitated state, she was unable to leave the car. From the studio, Diddy took her to a place he was staying. It was here, away from the public eye and any potential help, that he allegedly sexually assaulted her. The trauma of the assault left Joy in a state of shock and disbelief. She chose not to seek medical attention or report the incident to the police due to fear, shame, or the belief that she would not be believed. Instead, Joy withdrew into self-isolation at her home, grappling with the emotional and psychological aftermath of the assault. Joy confided in her best friend about the alleged assault when she felt safe enough. This act of confiding in someone she trusted was a crucial step in her journey toward healing, but it did not erase the trauma she had endured. The betrayal she felt was compounded when she later discovered that Diddy had secretly recorded the incident without her knowledge or consent. This revelation came from Devontae Swing, a mutual friend, who informed her that Diddy had shown him the tape. When she asked who else had seen the footage, Devontae chillingly responded, "Everyone." Devontae purportedly wanted to take a stand against Diddy, but feared that his band, Jodeci, might lose their record deal. Diddy was Jodeci's A&R at the time, and Devontae's fear of jeopardizing his career led him to remain silent. This betrayal added another layer of trauma to Joy's already devastating experience. The knowledge that her assault had been recorded and shared without her consent was a violation that compounded her suffering. The multiple traumas Joy experienced resulted in severe emotional distress, impacting her mental health, education, and career. The sexual assault, coupled with the humiliation and psychological torment of the video recording, affected her ability to function. She suffered from flashbacks and insomnia, eventually dropping out of school. Struggling with suicidal thoughts, she sought psychiatric care and was diagnosed with clinical depression. Will Joy get justice? Only time will tell. But away from Diddy's physical abuse and sexual misconduct, Diddy has also been accused of attempted murder, a crime that someone else paid the price for. This is none other than the 1999 club shooting at a club in New York. On December 27, 1999, Diddy and his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez had been celebrating a soon-to-be-released album by Shine, Diddy's 21-year-old protege, at Midtown's Club New York. The night started like any other glamorous evening in Manhattan, with Diddy and J-Lo enjoying the vibrant nightlife. Little did they know that the evening would take a dark and tragic turn. As Diddy's entourage was leaving carrying a bottle of champagne, he accidentally bumped into one of the club's patrons, knocking a drink out of his hand. The man, Matthew Allen, a street tough known as Scar, responded with a shove. Things escalated as one of Allen's companions allegedly threw a stack of money in Diddy's face.
Puffy and Shine allegedly got into an argument with another partier shortly before 3 a.m. Someone tossed a wad of cash at Combs as a sign of disrespect. Suddenly, all hell broke loose.
Suddenly, gunshots shattered the air, cutting through the music and plunging the club into chaos. Amidst the chaos, 3 innocent bystanders found themselves caught in the crossfire. Bullets struck 2 men and a woman. The woman, shot in the face, was rushed to hospital where she fought for her life. Diddy and J-Lo were detained after a gun was found in their car as they left the nightclub.
Gun was discovered in the vehicle. At that point, a sergeant on the scene ordered everyone who was in the vehicle under arrest. The officer quotes Lopez as saying, "It's not my gun."
Police charged Sean Puffy Combs and Jennifer Lopez with felony gun possession.
The vehicle was stopped because it was fleeing the scene and because it jumped a set of red lights. The gun was found lying in the car and was identified as one that had been reported stolen in Georgia, and none of the 4 occupants of the car had a license for the gun. However, in 2001, a Manhattan jury acquitted the hip-hop mogul of all charges brought against him, which included 4 counts of illegal possession of a gun and 1 count of bribery. But this is where the story gets a little more interesting. Shine, who was Diddy's protege, was found guilty of 5 of the 8 charges against him. As it turns out, one of the victims of Diddy's shooting has been trying to tell the world that the music mogul shot her for years. However, her testimony has fallen on deaf ears for over 2 decades.
Yeah, and you have said since really right after the shooting that it was P. Diddy who shot you.
I said it immediately. I literally watched them pull out the guns. I've had a clear point of view. I mean, for God's sake, I got shot in my nose.
Rapper Shine has also maintained that Diddy threw him under the bus. According to Shine, Diddy's legal team called a witness to the stand to testify against him.
It's not a matter of, turning your back on me. Like, how do you call a witness to testify against your comrade?
The witness that Shine was talking about was Charisse Myers, a bouncer at the nightclub. According to Myers, when the shooting started, she fell on top of Diddy, and the music mogul didn't have a gun with him at the club. However, what she said next drove the last nail in Shine's coffin.
But even as her testimony helped exonerate Puffy, it implicated Shine. Myers told jurors that it was Shine who first opened fire inside the club, letting off 2 shots toward the ceiling. Shine's lawyers conceded that their client fired his gun, but only in self-defense.
Diddy has long maintained that he didn't throw Cheyenne under the bus.
I did not force anybody or tell anybody to say anything that would damage or hurt Shine's case.
And now the case may be reopened. Will Diddy finally serve his time for these crimes? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.